why I chose to reinvent myself. So every year, people make resolutions. But this year, for me at least, it wasn't about resolution. It was about survival, growth, and honesty with myself. I looked at my life and I realized something super simple, but quite painful. If I kept living the way that I was living, I was going to keep getting the same results. And deep down, I knew I wanted more. That's why I made the decision to reinvent myself this year. So I'm going to give 7 reasons as to why I chose the path of reinvention instead of remaining stagnant. Number 1, recognizing I was stuck. So there comes a moment when you wake up and realize you're not excited about your own life anymore. I felt like I was kind of on autopilot, doing the same routines, surrounding myself with the same energy, but not really moving forward in the way that I thought I was going to be moving forward at my age. I kept telling myself, someday I'll change. But someday never comes. Life is monotonous. It's busy. There's a lot going on all the time for everybody. And unless you decide to make the change today, right now, you're never going to make the change. Now, point number 2, letting go of the old version of me. This one's a tough one. This one's a real tough one for me, actually. Because to reinvent myself, I had to let go of old habits and old patterns. Some of them were quite comfortable, to be honest. Gaming, talking to friends on the phone, doom scrolling. All of these things are actually quite monotonous and they're quite relaxing. But they weren't serving me. And to be honest, they're probably not serving you either. For me, that meant cutting down on distractions, distancing myself from certain people, and being honest about the excuses I was making. See, reinvention isn't about adding new things. It's also about subtracting what no longer fits your lifestyle in this current moment. And when you recognize that you need to evolve in order for you to get to the next level, you really start to make these changes. And the progression that you see through the discipline that you cultivate is what really changes your mindset and reinvents you. Which moves me on to point number 3, defining who I wanted to become. Once I stripped things away, the question became, who do I want to be? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I asked myself, what would be the best version of me look like? What would that look like? How would they carry themselves? How would they treat others? How would they handle challenges? These were all questions that I was asking myself. Not to say that I don't do these things well right now, but they could be done better. So reinvention starts with that vision. See, once you visualize these things, even before you have the roadmap, that's where you see the growth. And that brings me on to point number 4, building new habits and big time routines. Now, this is where I would say the real work begins. I had to create habits that match the person that I wanted to become. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm still currently in a transition, and that's actually quite challenging. I committed to taking care of my health by eating clean, being more disciplined. And I need to be more disciplined. It comes in different phases, it comes in different ways. Being more disciplined with your time and feeding my mind with new knowledge instead of wasting hours on things that didn't grow me. Little small shifts in my daily routine ended up creating massive changes in my transformation and also my mindset. Things such as waking up at 5 in the morning, anywhere between 5 to 5:30, and then going to the gym for 6 o'clock maximum, and then finishing an hour and a half workout by 7:30, coming home to shower, and then get into the office. When you doing the fasted cardio and challenging yourself with the Stairmaster every day, which is my big hurdle. And then when you take down that win, things change for you, and you feel like you can conquer the day in a different light, with a different level of confidence. And this brings me to point number 5. Facing resistance and doubt. Now, reinvention isn't glamorous. To be honest with you, there were days I questioned myself quite a bit. Was I worth it? Can I lose this weight? Was I really changing? Or was I just in the gym just so I can take a nice story and pretending that I'm this guy? And to be honest with you, some people even doubted me. They'd say, you've changed, almost like it was a bad thing. And I'm only at the beginning of my journey. This is only a couple weeks in. But I realized that the point reinvention means outgrowing your old self. And not everyone will understand this, especially in the moment. They might come to understand it later. But in the moment, you'll notice that there's people who would kind of treat you differently. But I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for me and what I want my future me to look like, and what I want the present me to feel like while I'm on this journey making these changes. Which brings me to point number 6. The benefits of reinvention. Now, there's a saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Now, for me at least, I look back at where I started and I can see the big difference in my mindset shift. Also, my weight is down. I've lost 15 pounds. I feel more confident. I'm more in control. I conquer tasks differently, and I'm more aligned with my life. Opportunities started showing up because I was ready for them. Different things at work that typically I wouldn't get assigned because I was taking too long on my old tasks. They started to trust me with that. People are starting to treat me differently. But more importantly, I'm treating myself differently. And that's the biggest win. And finally, I'm truly respecting and believing in myself. Creating the YouTube channel. Only a couple videos in, but this is, one of the videos of consequence for me. Eating clean. Talking and building my relationships more stronger. Reading. Which brings me to point number 7. Why it's worth it. Because if I can do it, you can do it as well. And at the end of the day, I chose to reinvent myself because staying the same was more painful than the effort it took to change. Reinvention. It isn't a one-time project. It's a lifelong commitment. And I'm proud to say that this year, with all the challenges I've had, and in this last couple of weeks, I chose myself. I chose to grow. And if there's one message I'd I'd leave anyone with, it's this: don't be afraid to rewrite your story. See, your reinvention could start today, in this moment, if you decide that it has to, or not. It can be 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 2 years, 5 years. But why wait? Just do it. So, why did I choose to reinvent myself this year? It's really simple. Because I was tired of living beneath my potential. Because I wanted to meet the version of myself that I've always dreamed of, that I cultivated several years ago and lost it. And because at the end of the day, change only happens when you take ownership of your own story. This year, I stopped waiting for permission. I gave myself the chance to begin again. And even though it didn't start right at the beginning of the year, I made sure that I'm not going to end the year without having those results that I made at the beginning of the year. And that decision is changing my life constantly every day. So I just made this video as an update to say that I've gone from 248 pounds to 235 pounds. My skin is cleaner, or clearer, I would say. I'm getting my water intakes. I feel better. I look better. My clothes fit better. My mind is stronger. My diet is better. And yours can be too.